In today's episode, we are finally getting back on track and finishing up our Garage Hoard series. This is episode 6 of emptying out our garage hoard in preparation for hurricane season so that we can park our cars inside the garage and prevent them from being damaged by crazy weather here in Houston, Texas. If you haven't seen episodes 1 through 5, I'll have them linked in the description box down below because you are not going to believe how jam-packed full of stuff our garage was to begin with. We have made so much progress and this project turned out great. Hey guys, welcome back to Desert DIY. If you are new here, my name is Corey. Today we are doing the upper half of this china hutch that we got for free on Facebook Marketplace. We already refinished the bottom half of it in a previous video. We turned it into this gorgeous rustic coffee bar that has since sold and is in its new home, making other people happy. But we have quite a few things left in the garage that we need to work on. We got this headboard from a neighbor on our street. They were getting rid of it and thought that we could repurpose it into something. So we're going to be using this as well as the top of that china hutch today to repurpose into something really unique and beautiful. In our last videos and in my post a little while ago, I had asked you guys to vote on colors for the next pieces that were coming up. You guys originally chose French blue for the first pieces, so we did a few pieces in French blue and you really enjoyed that. And if you haven't seen those yet, go ahead and check those out. They turned out so beautiful, and I actually was shocked at how much we transformed one of the tables. It was unrecognizable when we were done with it. But second place was navy blue. So we told you that we would do our next piece in navy blue since it was such a tight race between navy blue and French blue. So today's flip is going to be mostly navy blue, and oh gosh, I'm so excited to show you how this all turns out. Here's a better look at it. Beautiful woodworking. The door wood looks really beautiful. And I'm thinking we'll take the doors off and paint the body a navy blue and then keep the doors wood. There's a chunk missing out of the veneer over here, so that needs to get repaired. That's all good. And we have to remove these bolts and create a new base for the legs to stick to it. Wait till you see the legs.
I know it's nothing new, but it's so good to see you. Do this every day, and I'm still so amazed by you. So hold me tight through the night. It's just us two.
In pieces this old, there's always something going on with the veneer, and this was no different from all the other pieces I've ever worked on. It had quite a few pieces of veneer that were chipping off, so I removed everything that was loose and then filled in those areas with some Bondo. When working with Bondo, it has a really strong odor, so I highly recommend wearing a respirator mask for this because there's some intense chemicals going on in here. You want to use about a toothpaste amount of the cream hardener and mix it really well and apply it right away because it tends to harden within just a few minutes.
So hold me tight through the night. It's just us two.
So this headboard is pretty much the same stain color as the doors will be for this piece, and I can create a top for the furniture using this wood. I just need to take it apart first. I'm planning to use it in its current color for the top of the hutch, but as I start removing the appliques, I soon found out that the only thing on here that was real wood were the actual appliques. The rest of the piece was a sort of pressed cardboard material covered in a laminate, and so we quickly had to change plans. I still wanted to remove all the appliques off of it and reuse them either on this project or on another project, because we really couldn't use this headboard material as a wood, and we needed to come up with a new plan because I couldn't stain this on the areas that we cut because it's not real wood. So once we run this through the table saw to cut it down to size, it's just going to expose that cardboard-like material that is inside here. Either way, I still want to try and use this because I love reusing things instead of having things go to the dump. So we're still going to try and see if we can use it. We removed everything and made it into a nice flat surface so that we can potentially still use this as the top. And the way that we traced out the piece that we needed was by just simply setting the piece on top of it, lining it up with the back edge, and then tracing it out with a construction pencil. And then we ended up having to use a Sharpie actually because this pencil was not really showing up on that dark wood. Then we just had to put it aside and wait until we could come up with what exactly we were going to do with that piece. So we moved on. I know for sure that I want to add some cast iron legs to the bottom of this hutch top. And so in order to do that, I'm going to reuse some 1x4s that we had left over from working on our kitchen renovation, which is still not done yet. And I can't wait to show it to you once it is done because it's going to be beautiful. But we did have some extra things that we could use for this project from our kitchen project. And you know I don't like to waste anything, so we're going to use those 1x4s to create a strong base to connect its iron legs to. While that is drying and curing, I went up to Lowe's and grabbed the colored paint that we're going to be working with today. You guys chose navy blue as second place for the next color that you wanted to see, and this is the piece that I thought would be perfect in a navy blue color. I made sure to remove all of the dust off of it using a microfiber cloth before I started painting. And something else that I always do is I start painting my pieces upside down first and then switch to right side up for the next second and third coat. I got this new can of spray paint since Rust-Oleum has changed their sprayers on their cans, and it lets you change the settings to how much paint you want to spray out. So I set it at level 2 to prevent any drips or anything from happening, but I was having so many problems with the spray can. It would clog after using it for only 1 or 2 minutes. And so I went to get a second can, started using that one, and I flip them upside down when they start clogging because sometimes that will help get the clog out and prevent it from really permanently clogging up. And so I did that a few times as I was spraying, and this can seemed to do a little bit better, but then eventually this one also clogged up. So Manny took these 2 cans back to Lowe's and returned them and let them know, like, hey, something's going on with these cans. They're just clogging up as soon as we're using them, and we shook them up really good. Everything should have worked perfectly, and I've used this type of can before when I did that light French blue makeover in our last videos, and we had no issues with it clogging. So it was only this navy blue color that did this, and it was 2 cans, so kind of weird. Then I pulled out a third one, which was one I already had in my garage. That was like 3/4 full, but it had the old style sprayer on it, and this one was fine, did not clog whatsoever. So this makes me think it has something to do with that new sprayer that they came out with. And I don't know why I didn't have this issue with a different color, so I don't know how it would be possible that navy blue would have this problem and other blues wouldn't, but that is what we encountered. Very, very strange. All right. These are cans number 5 and 6. These better not clog, or I'm giving up on this color. This project should have only taken 2 to 3 cans of spray paint, but since we had to go back and return 3 of them, not just the 2, we had to return 3 of them, it ended up taking 6 cans because 3 of them didn't work right. We then, for the third can that was returned, Manny took it back to Lowe's, and then he went to Home Depot and bought theirs, and theirs had no issues. But I did something a little bit different with the last can of paint, and I'll explain that in just a second, but it worked better this way. I got it to work. I don't know if it was just a coincidence or what, but I turned the knob all the way to number 5 so that it was fully open in hopes that that would prevent it from clogging. It didn't clog, so that could be why, or maybe I just finally got a good can. I don't know. But if I were you and you're trying this, I've only had problems with this color, none of the other colors. But if you're trying it, start out all the way opened up at 5. Enamel paints take a really long time to cure. They usually take 1 to 3 days to fully dry and cure. So of course it was time to move on to the next part of the project while we're waiting for that paint to dry. Manny cut the headboard down to size where we had traced those lines on here, and I came up with an idea, which was to try and maybe gold leaf it. Originally I thought I wanted to do copper on this, and unfortunately they didn't have enough copper leafing at Hobby Lobby when I went to pick it up. So I decided maybe I could just do gold leafing on it and make the entire piece look a little bit like an unlacquered brass, and create a faux sort of aged look over top of that gold leafing. That way we could cover up the issues with the wood. It would still be a solid surface, something that's durable once I finish with it, but you wouldn't see that it had cardboard inside there, and we could still reuse that piece and turn it into something useful instead of taking it to the dump. And I also noticed that they have the copper rub and buff at Hobby Lobby, and then they also had something that I haven't seen before, which was a black rub and buff. I'll show you that in a second. But I also picked up this gel stain to use for the project, and it said it was fast drying, but look, they have black rub and buff. I never knew that was a thing. That is really neat. So I got everything home, and I tried out a couple different methods of applying the gold leaf, and the one that seemed to be working the fastest and the easiest was to spray some adhesive and then stick them on. Of course, it was really windy out. You can see how sweaty I am, and the mosquitoes were eating me alive. So I was pretty irritated with this part of the project, and as I was going, things were just not working how I wanted them to. So I originally tried applying it by using a polyurethane, letting it get tacky, almost dry, and then applying on the gold leaf. That didn't work. It was not sticking. Then I tried Mod Podge. That didn't work at all. And then I tried this spray adhesive, which seemed to be working, but then when I went back over it with a brush to brush off all the excess, pieces were just coming off, and it wasn't fully sticking the way it should. I know there's a certain type of adhesive that works for gold leafing, but it takes a really long time. You have to let it sit for like 30 minutes. And this was such a large area, I was just trying to find something that would be more time efficient. And it didn't work out. Another thing that didn't work out was that I don't know if it's definitely an error on my part, I'm sure, but I don't know if it's because of the type of glue I was using or how I was applying the gold leafing, but it started getting bubbles all over the place. This could also just be an issue with this type of gold leafing. I don't know. But at this point in the project, I was really fed up with this. I tried a different method again, which was to spray everything and let it get a little more dry before I applied on the gold leafing. So I had sprayed the whole surface now, and then went over it after like 15 minutes when the glue was starting to feel really tacky, and it was obvious that it was starting to dry a little bit. And that didn't work either, because then the gold leaf didn't stick hardly at all. So I don't know if it's definitely my fault that this isn't working out right, but I don't know what I could have done differently that wouldn't have taken absolutely forever to do. If you're really good at doing gold leafing, please let me know what you do in the comments section down below, because I have quite a bit left that I could use. But as far as this project goes, it looks terrible. And it was like this project was a little bit cursed. So the spray paint cans kept clogging up, which was weird how many of them did that. And then the wood was not real wood. It was made of like cardboard. And then when I tried to do this gold leafing look, it ended up just looking like a hot mess, and I was ready to throw this entire project on the curb and say just forget it. I was so sick of it, and nothing was working out right. We flipped it over and we're trying to think like, okay, what can we do? We can just like scrap that gold leaf side and maybe do something else, but this is the side where all that cardboard material was showing. And so I thought, you know what, let's just scrap this piece of wood or cardboard and look in the garage and see if we have some more random pieces of wood that we could create a top out of. So we found these 1-inch thick pieces of wood that we had from the previous owners of the house that they had left there, as well as just from other projects. So we set that up and traced out that same shape again on there and used these new woods to create a new countertop that we were just going to stain.
I met an old man. I said, tell me your story. He took out an old pen and wrote something for me. Walking on down the road, and I watched him disappear like smoke. And I thought I'd just seen a ghost. Then I looked down.
Manny did 3 coats of Kona gel stain that we got from Hobby Lobby, and he used a stain sponge to apply it on there because this works best for doing gel stains. Using a staining sponge like this one, it's covered in cheesecloth and it is so easy to use and gets really good coverage.
It said, son, when you grow up you'll be fine. I know you've got questions on your mind. Life is gonna happen one way or the other, whether you like it or not. Stop looking for the answers and you'll find what you've got.
While the stain was drying, Manny decided to cut out a new shelf for inside the china cabinet. It had 2 large shelves that go in the center portion and then 1 small shelf that goes on the side portion. So it was missing one of the side portion shelves. So we decided to take that second large one that goes in the center and instead have that used to cut down and make that missing shelf that would have gone on the side portion. So now, I know this probably sounds confusing, but now we have 1 shelf for each portion of the china hutch. So we have 1 for the left side, 1 for the center, and 1 for the right side. And these also needed to be painted in that same navy blue, and we wanted these to be permanent shelves inside the piece. So after we painted them, they got installed using nails so that they stay permanently in place. And I feel like it would have been nice to have more shelves in there, but at the same time I really enjoyed having the larger size gaps inside the china hutch like this that you see here. I also put some glue on underneath these pieces of wood that are going to be the kind of countertop on here so that everything was really secure and strong, and then we screwed that on from the underneath side of the top of this china cabinet.
Searching for glory. I took out an old pen and wrote in my story. Then I kept walking on down the road.
I picked up these legs because they were on clearance at Hobby Lobby a while back ago. I had no idea what project I was going to use them on. They're originally $28 per leg, and I got them for $6.24 each. So I almost got all four for the price of one.
When your time is up, it's time to go. I pray he reads what's on the note and takes to heart what I wrote. I said, son, when you
We are getting really close to finishing up this project. The person that we bought this from had taped up the glass to prevent it from breaking, but they used masking tape and it left pieces of itself on there that were so hard to get off, even with a razor blade. So that was just another issue that we had with this piece. To finish off the doors, I grabbed this little squeezy bottle of stain. I forgot where I bought this from, but I believe you can get it from craft stores. But it's a stain with a little sponge applicator on there so that you can do little touch-ups like this, and it works really well. I think I maybe even bought this at like Michael's. I'll see if I can link it in my Amazon store in the description box. But I used that stain to hit up any little spots on the doors that needed a little bit of stain. And then I got these handles from Hobby Lobby on clearance for probably about $1 or $2, and it needed 3 handles. I thought that these were cute and dainty and would look really nice with all of the look that we had going on there. And also that center screw on each knob was a dark black color, much like the iron legs that were on here. So it kind of created this cohesive look, and once this part was all finished, we could really see what we were working with. For the top, I still needed to put on some polyurethane. I got this on clearance for under $4, and I was using this pretty glossy polyurethane to make sure that the top was sealed and had the same sheen as the rest of the piece. The doors are shiny, the paint is shiny, so I wanted the wood top to have that same sheen as the rest of the piece.
you'll be fine. I know you've got questions on your mind. Life is gonna happen one way or the other, whether you like it or not. Stop looking for the answers, and you'll find what you've got.
Well, I think I'm done. As a last bit of detail, we nailed on the cute little appliques that we had taken off of that king-size bed headboard and added them to the sides. I think this helps to draw more attention to the wood tones of the piece and create more of a cohesive look. I thought that looked really cute. So what do you think of this flip today? We really had some highs and lows here. Things did not work out as planned, but we didn't give up. We still tried to use and repurpose everything that we could. We started out with a free hutch that was broken. The crown on top was totally broken and we had to remove it. We had already completely changed and reused the base of this piece, and I needed to give it a new life and a new purpose. I love that you guys chose navy blue because I think that is such a classic color, and I hope that you enjoyed how we added that color to this piece. What do you think of the two-tone with the wood and the blue? I guess three-tone in a way, since the legs are black and the hardware has a little bit of white too. But what do you think of how it all came together? I have to say, I was really worried about this project, if it was even going to turn into something in the end, or if we were going to have to throw it away. I think that this does look classic and beautiful, and I think we gave it a brand new purpose. We decided instead of selling it, we wanted to take the doors off and use it as display in my resale booth, one of them. And recently I had put this wallpaper inside one of my resale booths, and I thought that this navy blue would look gorgeous up against that blue and white toile wallpaper. So I think we're going to actually make this be a permanent display piece in my booth and not list it for sale, but I'm not sure. We'll see how everything works out. I am a little bit curious about how durable this paint is going to be, just because of how we had so many issues with the spray cans. So that's another reason why I don't want to sell it yet, because I want to make sure that that paint does cure how it's supposed to and is not something that's going to scratch or look weird. But thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw today, don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!